Reverse.
A great throb of liberation, a formless field of merit, wrapping ourselves in Buddha's teaching, we free all living beings. And though I thus free countless beings, not a single being is liberated.
Incense chant.
Precepts incense, liberation of views incense. Cloud of lighted incense pouring into the Dharma realms. Offering to the highest teachers of the 10 directions, I respectfully bow to the altar of the incense cloud. Bodhisattva.
Wisdom dedication.
We dedicate this time and place to the 3 jewels.
To the Buddha, the ideal of enlightenment to which we aspire. To the Dharma, the path of the teaching that we follow. To the Sangha, the spiritual fellowship with one another that we enjoy. Here may no idle word be spoken. Here may no unquiet thoughts disturb our minds.
The observance of the 5 precepts.
We dedicate this place.
To the practice of meditation.
We dedicate this place.
To the ripening of wisdom.
We dedicate this place.
To the joy of awakening.
We dedicate this place.
Though in the world outside there is strife,
here may there be peace.
Though in the world outside there is hate,
here may there be joy.
Here seated, here practicing,
may our minds become Buddha, may our thoughts become Dharma, may our speech together become Sangha, for the happiness of all beings, for the benefit of all beings. With body, speech, and mind, we dedicate this place. Chant of compassion. We surround all forms of life with infinite love and compassion. Especially do we send out compassionate thoughts to those in suffering and sorrow, to those in doubt and ignorance, to all who are striving to attain truth, and to those whose feet stand close to the great change called death. We send forth all wisdom, mercy, and love. May the infinite light of wisdom and compassion so shine within us that the errors and vanities of self may be dispelled. So shall we understand the changing nature of existence and awaken into spiritual peace. The refuges.
I take refuge in the Buddha.
I take refuge in the Buddha.
I take refuge in the Dharma.
I take refuge in the Dharma.
I take refuge in the Sangha.
I take refuge in the Sangha. The five precepts.
I take up the practice of not harming living beings.
I take up the practice of not harming living beings.
I will not take what is not offered.
I will not take what is not offered.
I will not misuse sexuality or sensuality.
I will not misuse sexuality or sensuality.
I will practice gentle, truthful speech.
I will practice gentle, truthful speech.
I will not deal in nor misuse intoxicants.
I will not deal in nor misuse intoxicants. The Buddha Sarangamagata. True nature is free from all phenomena, which are illusions by causes created. Namena, neither rise nor fall, but all phenomena are flowers in the sky. The unreal reveals the real. The both are but illusions, since there is nothing real nor unreal. How can there be a subject and an object? For between the two there is no true nature, like a point where two brushed bundles meet. When set upright, tying and untying from the same cause arise, while the saintly and the worldly are not dual. Consider underlying nature at the point You are in delusion. If you awaken to it, you are free at once. 6 knots are untied one after the other. When 6 are undone, one vanishes as well. Choose a sense organ that is all penetrating to enter the holy stream and attain Bodhi. Old habits flow like torrents in a subtle consciousness, since the real yet unreal can create confusion. I have refrained from revealing it to you. If mind be set on searching for the mind, that which at heart is not illusion becomes illusory. If you stop all grasping, then there is nothing real. If what is not illusion ceases to arise, where can illusion be? This is the profound Lotus Dharma, the precious Bodhi of the royal gem, the samadhi of seeing all things as illusion, which in thy finger snap leads to the state beyond all study. The unsurpassed doctrine was followed by all Bhagavats in all directions on the one path that to Nirvana leads.
Well, since we have some new people interested in, and also our presence on YouTube, I thought I'd take this opportunity to go over what this practice is, on what we do, what we're doing when we're sitting here in meditation. So this will just be a basic starter overview of what this practice is and what we're doing here. So the foundation of our practice is in the teachings of the Buddha. That is what we use to shape our experience of Supreme Bodhi and of his teaching of enlightenment. We do not adhere to really any sect of Buddhism other than we fall as close as we can to well, the closest thing to us is Zen. So we are Zen, but we're not Soto, we're not Renzai. We just study the teachings of the Buddha and practice the way that he teaches. It's just as simple as you can get, really. The Buddha teaches that we are responsible for our own well-being. Our suffering comes from our own thoughts, and that our feelings and our actions also come from our own thoughts. So it really puts us in a place of responsibility. We are responsible for how we feel, how we act, whether or not we're suffering. Nobody else is. And it's also empowering because we have the power to cease our own suffering, to choose what to act upon, and to choose how to feel, because our practice is choosing whether or not to essentially keep a thought or get rid of a thought. So the Buddha goes into detail about what is a productive thought and an unproductive thought. And essentially what it boils down to is the thought causing harm to you? Is it causing harm to other people? Is it hateful? Is it going to lead you down a path of more thoughts developing that are unskillful? And productive thoughts are thoughts that, encourage the growth of your practice, encourage the well-being of yourself, encourage the well-being of others, and will not cause harm to any living being. And that's just a very macro level overview of a productive and unproductive thought. So if, let's say, an unproductive thought is, there's some dog hair on the carpet in front of me, and if I'm fixated on that dog hair and it is causing me to not be able to sit and be peaceful, I can't continue the service until I clean up this dog hair, then it is causing me to be unskillful, and I need to destroy the thought. I need to cease a thought, and I'll get into how we do that in a minute. It can also be things like driving down the road and someone cuts you off. If you choose to be angry, thinking that they did it on purpose, they're trying to piss you off. I have places to be too, all of those thoughts are unproductive because it only leads to self-harm, and potentially the harm of others if you don't cease that thought, and it leads to dangerous action because you're angry. So kind of see what productive thoughts and what unproductive thoughts are in our daily lives. Productive thoughts tend to be have more grace. Unproductive thoughts tend to jump to hateful or assuming means. So the core of our practice is our meditative effort. When we sit here and we meditate, it's essentially a space for us to practice experiencing Supreme Bodhi. So when we sit here, we're getting there, we're nurturing that ability for us to reach Supreme Bodhi, so that when we leave here, when we leave our space of meditation, we know we're familiar with how to get to Supreme Bodhi when we live in daily life. So sitting here in meditation is not about this is the only time that I'm meditating. It's about familiarizing yourself with the practice in every moment so that we can take it off the cushion and into everyday life. So if you encounter that person who cuts you off in traffic, you can meditate right there from the car. You can get to that peaceful, quiet place from wherever you are in your life, in the world. You don't have to be sitting here on the cushion to do it. It's just a place to foster that experience. Now, our meditation is based off of what the Buddha teaches in the Shurangama Sutra, which is the sutra that is our focal sutra of this Zendo. And essentially, what we're doing is we are watching thought arise and watching thought fade. Our focus is not on the thoughts themselves. We're using them as like training wheels so that we can get a glimpse of what is Supreme Bodhi, what is quiet mind, what the Buddha refers to as that enlightenment. And that is that quiet space between thought diminishing and then the next thought arising. So it's kind of like I like to think about it as like artificially producing a thought, artificially coaxing a thought to arise so that we can have a method of which we can reproduce our meditation everywhere we are, anytime we need to. So like I have this mug here in front of me. And if I were to use this as a meditative object for this specific meditation, I like to advise people to start with a sense of sight, although you can use any sense. So using the sense of sight, we will practice making thoughts arise. And the thoughts that we want to have about this coffee mug should be physical attributes, because it allows our brain to slow down enough for us to see those thoughts arise. So if I were to look at this mug, I might say it's a cylinder. I might say it's white and like a light green color. And I might say it has brown liquid in it. So using those three attributes, we can watch those thoughts arise. The thoughts about it's a cylinder, it's white and it's light green, and it's got brown liquid in it. And then what we'll want to do is put that object aside and we'll select a second object. So maybe the second object could be an electric lighter. You guys can't see it very well, but I might look at this and I kind of like to have it far enough away from the first meditative object that it's not distracting me. I'm now turning my focus away from the mug, turning it to this lighter. I might say it's rectangular, it's pale blue, and it has an on-off switch on it. So we're watching those thoughts arise about this electric lighter. And as we're watching the thoughts about the electric lighter arise, notice the thoughts about the mug, the first sense object. So let's do this one time again. So we'll put the lighter down and we'll pick up the mug. We'll go, it's cylindrical, it's white and light green, and it has brown liquid. And watch the thoughts about the lighter fade as we pick up the thoughts about the mug. And we'll move to the second object again, which is rectangular, pale blue, and he has an on-off switch. The course of going from one object to the other, you'll notice that while I'm on this object here, the thoughts about the mug will fade as I'm focusing on the thoughts about the lighter. And there will be a place in between the thought about the mug fading and the thought about the lighter arising. And what we want to do is stay on one sense object until all the thoughts about the other sense objects have diminished completely. And doing that will prevent us from encouraging our mind from jumping around too much. So I'm focusing on the lighter until all the thoughts about the mug have diminished, and focusing on those three attributes: the rectangle, pale blue, on-off switch. So this is what we also do with those unproductive thoughts I mentioned earlier. So if I'm struggling with, there's dog hair on the carpet and it really needs to be cleaned, or whatever else is happening in your life, someone cut me off in traffic, we can use this Supreme Bodhi to object meditation to get to that quiet place to cut off those thoughts. So essentially what we can do is treat those unproductive thoughts like one of the sense objects in our meditation. So if I'm having a thought arise that is, I need to clean this carpet before we proceed with anything because it just needs to be cleaned, blah, blah, blah. I can't continue if I keep thinking about it like this. It's not really that dirty. It's just an example. Then I could go, okay, rectangular, pale blue, on-off switch. And let my mind relax the grip of the thoughts that are unproductive so that they can diminish. So release the energy we're giving to the unproductive thoughts. And the way to release it is using a sense object. So I would focus on, just like we do in meditation, I would focus on the sense object until the unproductive thoughts diminish fully. And then from there, you should pick a second object that will not trigger you back into those unproductive thoughts. That's essentially all this is. In a nutshell, that's the basics of the practice. When we're sitting here, where we are using our sense objects in order to find that quiet mind, the Supreme Bodhi, between thoughts arising and thoughts fading. That is all there is to our meditation. And we do also study the sutras together, which get into more of an advanced study of the Buddha's teachings. So that, but this was just a basic overview of what is our practice and what is our effort when we're meditating here together, just so that we all have the same effort together. We're all practicing together on the path together, the way that the Buddha teaches us to practice. So that concludes my Dharma talk for today. Announcements. We're on YouTube. I don't think there's any other major announcements for the Sangha today. So we're going to closing off.
I have a question.
Yes.
Will your travel plans next week include cancellation for Sunday?
No, I will be back on
Thursday?
every Sunday for the foreseeable future so far. Thank
Okay.
you.
Cool.
Closing Gata. Let me respectfully remind you, life and death are of supreme importance. Time passes swiftly and opportunity is lost. Each of us should strive to awaken. Awaken, take heed, do not squander your life. Offering of merit. May the merit of this penetrate into each thing in all places, so that we and every sentient being together can realize the Buddha's way. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, wisdom beyond wisdom, experience supreme Bodhi.
Okay, and we will proceed to our break and come back for continued study of the Swarnama Sutra at 4:25.